What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings podcast. We had a game yesterday, finally, something that Yankee fans, myself included, can cheer about because the last three games have been, they've been games, but not something that has been entertaining to watch by any means. Like I said, the first game, obviously crazy, walk-off Freddie Freeman in the 10th inning. As a baseball fan, amazing. As a Yankee fan, it's tough to watch. Game two, another one that felt way out of pocket, even though it was only 4-2. And then obviously game three, another one that felt way far away, like 4-0 game that felt like it was 10-0. 2-run home run in the bottom of the ninth to kind of like give you a little bit of false hope, thinking that maybe the Yankees could put something together. That wasn't going to happen. But then we came into this game with it seemed like they had a completely different mindset. And I'll say that because the entire feel of that game, maybe it was the tension of the fact that it was a win or go home game, but something just felt completely different from the start. Right off the bat, we knew this was going to be a bullpen game from LA. They've done it every game for in this postseason, simply due to the fact that they're just short on starting pitching itself, but have so many relievers that can kind of carry you through the distance of a game that they've been kind of relying on this. And their offense is strong enough to where if the bullpen screws up or the bullpen can't get it done in certain areas, offense normally backs it up. But yesterday that wasn't the case. Was not the case. Was a little bit weary with Heel starting on the mound yesterday. Did okay in the championship series. Didn't pitch at all in the division series. I was a little nervous. There's rumors of maybe bringing Cole back on short rest to kind of secure this win. I thought that was a long shot. The minute I started hearing those rumors, I thought, ain't no way. There's no way they're going to do that, because if they do win, they're going to need him game 5, which we have now arrived at that point. No question, you've got a rematch of game 1, Garrett Cole versus Jake Flaherty. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about this game. So right off the bat, first inning, again, upsetting as it is, you can't be mad. It's Freddie fucking Freeman. You can't be upset. But the dude is on an absolute heater. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know what you're supposed to do in the situation. Stop throwing. I would have not given him a single pitch in the zone. Like, even the pitch he hit out last night, the other two were up and in fastballs, very, very much hittable pitches. He did what you should have done with the pitches thrown, especially from the one from Nestor in the first game, the one from Rodon in the second game, and the one from Schmidt in the third game. This one, it's no exception. I don't know what you do. Just stop throwing the fucking ball to him. Walk him. If you got to intentionally walk this man in the first, I guess that's kind of a cheap shot. People are going to be like, oh, you want the challenge. Well, if you're going to challenge him, that's fine, but you got to make sure that you're nowhere near the zone. You got to really make this guy chase. I mean, this is just... It's insane. It's an incredible feat. Like I said, as a baseball fan, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. As a Yankee fan, I'm like, this guy's a fucking menace. He's a menace. Excuse me. But anyway, so of course, top of the first, bomb by Freddie. It's 2-0 immediately. Right off the bat, I was pretty not deflated, because like I said, I felt like the Yankees were going to do something. It wasn't going to be another one of those games. And you could feel it in the air the minute the game turned on. I was like, all right, so what? 2 runs. They can do it, right? Not a big deal. So I wasn't too worried. Obviously, Heel settled in after that. I think that was the only runs he really gave up. I think until his last inning. There's another 2 in the 5th, but not bad. I was pretty impressed for those 4 innings that he gave. They're pretty solid, except for that one to Freddie, and then the other ones later in the game. But the thing that was nuts, that I had never seen before, was in the bottom of the first, and a lot of people saw it. I mean, it was a big deal. The whole thing with the fan interference on the right field line with Mookie Betts. So, got people to split 2 ways, and I'm also split 2 ways. As a fan of the home team, the Yankees, watching this, it's funny to a certain extent. I mean, the thing that upset me a little bit was, number one, you don't grab him. There's another guy that grabbed Mookie Betts' forearm. Just don't touch. You fuck around. You can, going into the gloves, I think, is a little too much as well. It's funny in the moment. It was like, what the fuck? And then, like, afterwards, thinking about it, it's like, yeah, that wasn't really that cool. Yeah, that wasn't really cool at all. I mean, that was a bit much. I think, like, if you're going to deflect the ball out of his glove, hit the glove, I mean, whatever. But, like, to blatantly, like, hold his glove and dig in there to grab it out. What are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You had every opportunity if you wanted to interfere, you wanted to play that card because they're like, we're just trying to interfere. You're trying to interfere. The ball was right there. You could have just knocked it out. And you blatantly grabbed, you held his glove and tried to dig in there. There's a good chunk of time where he's digging in. And the second pitch, your buddy held his arm there. That's not cool. Obviously got kicked out of the game. I mean, rightfully so. I've never understood why people do stupid shit, pay all this money to go to a fucking World Series game, which tickets are not cheap. There are record-setting numbers on the tickets for the first two games, and then obviously I saw prices dropped a little bit, obviously today because people thought what it may not be another one. Yankees are about to get swept. Who cares? We're not going to go watch. Obviously, still shit ton of money to pay for a World Series ticket to get kicked out in the bottom of the first. It's pretty stupid. But anyway, so moving forward, after that happens, the game kind of heats up. The Yankees were consistently putting pressure on them from the get. It was pretty entertaining. It was pretty cool. Obviously, in the third, there was too many moments where I thought, someone's not going to get it done. Someone's not going to get it done. And Volpe, man, just came through the grand slam. I know that Rizzo came up with the bases loaded that inning as well and just couldn't get it done. And I was like, if this is going to happen, 2 outs, you can't squander this moment. You got to get one. Not accounting the fact that, earlier in the game, there was the double, the Volpe gets the hit, steals second, Wells hits the double dead center. I was a little bit worried, it's like, hey, what the fuck? The base running is still not good. I mean, that's whether you want to blame that on the base coaches, whatever. There's a questionable decision yesterday sending Stanton on a play he should have never been sent on. May have changed the game a little bit. Who knows? But obviously that's yesterday. That was 2 days ago talking about yesterday. There's no reason on the double from Wells in, I guess it was the second. Let me see. Yeah, the double from Wells, it was, so Volpe draws the walk in the second. Wells hits the double, and there's just no reason why Volpe should not have scored. It was dead fucking center. It was a weird play. I think he may have thought that, Hernandez may have gotten there in center and maybe made the play. It was a pretty close call, but you should have been halfway. You should have been way more towards third. I'm not sure what happened there. Another case of bad base running by the Yankees. Fits the mold. Been like this all year. Then Verdugo's able to bring one in, and Torres flies out, but they got the one. So it was 2-1. Heel comes back out and shoves. Then we go to the third. Once again, a lot of pressure. Soto strikes out in the third. Aaron Judge gets drilled. They check on Judge because I think that was the one that got him in the pinky out of the hand. A little worrisome. Then Jazz gets a single. Jazz steals, right? Giancarlo draws the walk. Bases are jammed. You got Chisholm at third. Judge at second. Giancarlo at first. Rizzo pops up to the shortstop. That was the moment where I was like, if there was something. But the thing was, in the moment, I wasn't so worried that, they may or may not get this done. Because right now they put so much pressure on this bullpen game that I felt like, okay, they're going to keep this pressure on. This isn't going anywhere. So had they not gotten it done, I knew they needed to at least tie it at this moment. They needed to at least tie it. That was what needed to happen. No matter what, they needed to tie it. They needed to get at least another one. Then the Rizzo pop-up, I was like, motherfucker. If they don't get one with the bases loaded, these opportunities don't come often. Not with this bullpen, not with this team. Something needs to happen. Volpe comes up, first pitch, and I was a little worried because obviously earlier in the game it came to Volpe and he didn't get it done. Big moment for a young kid, second year in the big leagues, obviously. Big moment. First pitch he sees, grand fucking slam. Lost my fucking mind. It was insane. It was intense, especially for the kid that grew up a massive Yankee fan. And then obviously Wells flies out to end it. And it was a great play at the top of the next inning with Rizzo on the line, first base. Muncy draws the walk. There was another ground ball. There was 2 plays at first that got overturned. Close plays, but God, it's embarrassing for that umpire in the World Series. But in all honesty, too many plays that were too close at first base. Then go to the 5th. Will Smith hits another home run. I think that makes it 3-5. And then obviously Tommy Edman draws the walk. This is in the 5th inning. This is when they scored another 2 on heel. So home run by Smith, which is obviously just threw his hands at a fastball in the outer half, just went the other way with it. Edman walks. Shohei Ohtani hits a single. Betts grounds out into a force out again. Then they challenged the play on Freddie Freeman on a ground ball, which I didn't know that Freddie Freeman on his bad ankle could run that fast. But it is what it is. And then we get another fly out. Clay Holmes comes in. Ice in his vein. Bro, Clay Holmes in a non-save situation, like last night he was filthy. And I was honestly, they rolled out Tim Hill for the 2/3 that Hill got in trouble after the fourth. But Clay Holmes, man, he was nasty. Nasty. Then he comes out for the next one, does great. Yeah. It was Clay Holmes just was amazing. He was good last night. We'll talk about pitching here in a little bit. Then in the sixth, Wells hits a home run. Finally, Wells is breaking out of whatever slump he'd been in. Another guy that was like 4 for 40 or something like that. Not good. One of the worst qualified batters into the series. Him and Jazz have not been very good, obviously, along with Judge. But Wells, a double home run. Like, is Wells back? Is this the guy? Because like him in the 4-hole was pretty clutch. Like the latter half of the season, really from June to the end of the year, him at the 4-hole was huge. It was massive. I'm hoping that, the double broke him out. The home run broke him out. He's clearly seeing the ball well. So I don't know. Going into the seventh, another big inning with Mark Leiter Jr. going in for Clay Holmes. At that moment, I thought Clay Holmes goes another one. I really thought he earned the other one, but I got the idea. And we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk about pitching. I'm not going to talk really much about that. Then we go into the eighth. They bring in Brent Honeywell to replace Knack, who I thought, again, some of the pitching decisions, and I get it, they're up 3-0. You want to waste a game from the Dodgers' point of view. You can waste one. I think they left in Honeywell way too long for that inning. I mean, not Honeywell, Knack. Honeywell got knocked around a little bit, but Knack, 2 innings, 1 earned run. He just gave up a lot of hits. It felt like a lot of hits. Honeywell as well. Go to the bottom of the eighth. Obviously, they'll ground it out. Volpe hits a double. So have a fucking day, Anthony Volpe. Wells walks, and then Verdugo reaches on the fielder's choice. Then Torres hits another home run, making it 10-4. Then Soto doubles. Aaron Judge singles. It became a hit fest that inning against, obviously, off of Honeywell. Four hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs. Like, they just piled it on. Obviously, Luke Weaver through the seventh and the eighth. Again, we'll talk about pitching here in a minute. And then Meza closed it out. And we ended the game 11-4. That was kind of a rundown of the key situations of the game, obviously. Now, talking about pitching, like I said, Kasperius started it off okay. 2 innings, 1 run, 1 hit. We're talking about the Dodgers, obviously. Dan Hudson got hit around, 4 earned runs. Knack, another one, 4 runs, 2 hits, 1 run. And then Honeywell, obviously, with the 5 runs, just pile it on. Now, people are like, well, it's a bullpen game. It's not even their good bullpen. These are the other guys. Sure, but like Hudson, a guy that, they've relied on quite a bit, who's thrown and a lot of the games got hit around. Honeywell, who is kind of like their piggyback long reliever guy that they've been using. They used him against the Padres. They used him against the Mets. Turtleneck Man got hit around really hard. So I don't think we're going to see him today. Like that's a big piece. Some of these pieces, like Hudson, I don't think he comes back and throws against the Yankees today. So you're going to have to find other ways. But like there are even pieces, like if the Yankees can hit and play like they played yesterday, even them going against, Vesia, even them going against Gratterall, even them going against, Trainin, who they got to in the last game that they faced Trainin, like it's a different game. Like this isn't the same Yankee team that was just rolling over for you. Like they're going to put up some at-bats. Going over to the Yankee side, Hill, obviously the 4 innings, Tim Hill comes in, gets him out of that 5th inning, even though we gave up a couple, 4 runs. Clay Holmes came in, phenomenal. His slider was wiped out, especially against Max Muncy. That was disgusting. Great pitching performance. I thought he had earned another one before they put Mark Leiter Jr. in there, because Mark Leiter Jr. with his 2 outs, big outs, obviously Ohtani. He got Ohtani out. I think he got, and then the batter before that, I think it was Edman. I don't remember specifically, but there's 2. I think he walked Edman. I think, but the 2 outs he threw, nerve-wracking. I was not happy. I thought Clay Holmes should have gone out for that inning, or at least finished it before they put him in there. But as I watched the pitching come out, and I was on Twitter last night tweeting, because there were too many people that were upset about, the pitching decisions. And let me reiterate. Let me clear this up, right? So people were like, why are we putting in Weaver in the 7th? Some of these pitching decisions don't make any sense. You pull Clay. That one I was a little bit wary about. I was like, Clay Holmes was dealing. He was doing great. Maybe you want to play matchups. I don't know the specific stats against Holmes and, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. Maybe I didn't have that information obviously in front of me. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. So I wasn't going to question the Leiter Jr., who has come in big moments since they brought him up in the championship series. Since he came up in the championship series, they have put him in the biggest fucking moments, whether it was last night, whether it was against the Indians when those games got a little bit tight. Leiter Jr. has proven himself that he can handle a moment. So I get they put him in there. I get it. But the one that everyone seems so confused about was the Luke Weaver. And obviously they put in Leiter Jr. in the 7th. Weaver came in, got the last out against Betts, struck him out, and then came out for the 8th, finished the 8th. Weaver looked good. He's had rest. He's been on the bench. We obviously haven't really had a chance to use him besides the first game. 2 and 3, he hasn't gone in. But here's the thing: a lot of people were like, "Well, what? Why are we putting in Weaver now? Like he's the closer." Okay, timeout. Everyone relax. You put in Luke Weaver in that situation because the biggest part of the game. This is your guy. This is the guy who's going to get you out of jams. Who's going to finish games for you, whether they're close, 1-3-run games. That's the guy you go to, right? The big moment. Fuck a stat. It doesn't matter if he gets a save. This is no longer. This was a season-saving game. This was no longer like we're going to play the traditional route. It's the World Series rules. Positions. Situational guys. That's all out the window. It's what are we going to do right now to make sure that we can play tomorrow? And that was what this whole layout of pitching that I'm looking at was just that. And a lot of people didn't quite understand. So I just wanted to reiterate that. Normally, the 9th inning is the big inning for a closer. Well, last night, the big inning for Luke Weaver was going to be get us to the 9th. Our offense is rolling. Just get us through the 7th. These big innings, the top of the lineup, the meat of the lineup. Get us through the 7th. Get me out of the 7th. Get me out of the 8th. Give me the 8th. And then, hopefully we can pile some more on between now and then. And then we'll go to somebody else. If not, there's no way you're taking Weaver out of the game if it's still close. If it's still 4-5 game, or 6-4 game with the Wells home run, you're still going to Weaver. No question. The home run and the thing is that you were going to have to. There was no way you trust that situation with somebody else. You trust it with Weaver and Weaver only. That's the thing. And the other thing is that people were like, "Oh, just adding insult to injury from a Dodgers standpoint with the Glaber home run in the 8th." But the real thing was that home run was big enough to where you can sit Weaver and say, "We'll give it to Meza." And Meza obviously came in and shut the door. Tim Meza is a good pitcher, but that was the big thing, and people were like, "Oh, it's not, whatever." It was dumb. No, it wasn't. It was a great call. It was that was the moment. So people who didn't understand that don't quite understand, I think, the intrinsic part of what he was trying to do, which is to get us to the end of the game, and we can figure it out from there. But we have to get there first, right? So I applaud Aaron Boone. That was a great. That was a master class of what to do with that pitching rotation there. I was solid. I was impressed, and I think people should give him a little bit more credit. People like to shit on Aaron Boone sometimes, but a lot of times Boone does some stuff that I'm questionable on, like in the first game pulling Garrett Cole with 88 pitches, though. If you want to foreshadow, people are like, did he? No, well, now you're looking at it did he pull him with 88 pitches so that he could come out and give a massive performance in Game 5 needed? We're going to find out. But 88 pitches is for a starter. He's still got another at least 20, 30, maybe 30 in the World Series. So we got to hope that tonight, there's no leash on Garrett Cole. He's going 8. You got to give it all here. There was a time, he hasn't played in a World Series as a Yankee since he signed the massive contract some years ago, right? This is what the Yankees have paid him, that $300 million contract. Make you a Yankee for life type deal. Tonight is the moment you're going to need Garrett Cole. But let's look at kind of the batting. Let's look at before we get to today. So we got Torres 1 for 5, not bad. Soto 1 for 4, not bad. Soto seems a little off, is a little quiet. Obviously, Judge, busted out of this slump, drew a couple walks, had some good at bats, didn't bite at every fucking slider through to him, which was relieving to see. You look good up there, man. He had, well, let me retract. He didn't look phenomenal. He didn't look like Aaron fucking Judge, but he looked like a lot better, a lot more comfortable in the box. He was seeing more pitches. He got drilled. He got a hit. So maybe that's good for him. Obviously, Chisholm got a hit as well. Stanton 0 for 4. Didn't come through. It happens, right? The dude's been hot for who knows. You're not going to have it every game. Rizzo 0 for 4 again. I thought there was some spots that Rizzo could have came through for him, but didn't. Volpe have a fucking game, 2 for 4, 4 RBIs, obviously a double, home grand slam. Austin Wells double home run, great. Verdugo obviously 1 for 4, but key RBI early in the game when it was needed. Heel aside from the Freeman, aside from a couple pieces here and there. Otani got a hit tonight. Betts got a hit tonight. Freeman got the hit, was the only home run he had. Hernandez got the hit. Muncy 0 for 3, who's been struggling since really being hot in the divisions, the division and the championship series. Now batting a .178, but he has an 803 OPS. So I mean, obviously, just kind of struggling there at the plate a little bit. Kike Hernandez, another one 0 for 4. Gavin Lux 1 for 3. And Chris Taylor came in and pinch hit later in the game. 1 for 4. Will Smith with the home run. I think that's all he had. And then Edman obviously 0 for 1 with the 2 walks. Very quiet Dodger offense yesterday, which is surprising. Obviously, Hill threw well, and the bullpen really executed. Like I said, I was really impressed with the pitching selection from the game yesterday. But, aside from that, I think the momentum has really changed a little bit. It just feels like a different ballgame. The Yankees feel like they're more alive. And again, like you have another game, a season-defying game tonight, in Game 5, which was obviously part of me going into this game, like I said, knew that this was not going to be a regular game. This was going to be like the Yankees are going to have to show up, and they don't show up, then this is going to be fucking pathetic. And I don't think that they had that in them to do that. It just wasn't going to happen. Like they were going to dig deep, and they did. They did. They put up 11, not bad. Now, as we kind of wrap this up going into tonight, we've got Jack Flaherty versus Garrett Cole. Again, I kind of hinted at it earlier. This is what you paid him for. This is like, there should be no holds. Obviously, you're not going to pitch him, 140 fucking pitches. We're not going to get egregious. We're not going to get like crazy with it. But like, I'm expecting Garrett Cole to go 100, 110, 115. Hoping that he pitches well. Obviously gets that far, but like there's no way he doesn't see the Dodgers lineup 3 times tonight. No way. Garrett Cole will see the Dodgers 3 times tonight. And it's time to dig deep. Like this is what you as a pitcher, as the ace of the staff, like this is the moment that like they have you for, that you're named for, that they need you, right? So we're going to see Jack Flaherty again. Another one that's kind of, I'm a little bit, playing devil's advocate, as a Dodger, watching baseball. No, I'm not going to say that I'm a Dodger fan because I'm not. But as a baseball fan, like you're worried. Both times he's come out in the second start of a series, it's not gone well. The Mets lit him up in that Game 5 or Game 6, I think, last series. It was ugly. It was really bad. And Dave Roberts left him in there for like 4 innings after getting fucking shelled for like 8 or 9 runs. Like it wasn't good. So you got to think like, are the Yankees going to be able to sit? And honestly, like looking at his repertoire, the loopy curve, the slide, the cut, the fast, like not anything that you can't handle is what I'm trying to make of this. Like Flaherty's not Garrett Cole. They should be able to get to him. Change the approach. Take the same approach as you did yesterday. Be aggressive. Like, what do you have to lose? Play hard. Like, just fucking go after every pitch that you can get within the zone. Like, last night was a far cry from what they had the night before, which was like taking like 55 fastballs down the dick. Like, can't do that anymore. Swing the fucking bat. You see what happens when you swing it. There's really nothing else that needs to be done. Swing the bat, pitch, the game goes in your favor. And that's kind of what the recipe is going to be. I'm assuming that both teams are going to roll out the same lineup. Ohtani looking a little shaky. You can tell that he's in visible pain when he swings, but dude's powering through. Obviously, go to LA, sign this massive contract. You're playing in the fucking World Series. It's not going to, they're not taking Ohtani out. So swinging with pain is still better than not swinging at all, in my opinion there. But I think that, other than that, there's not any real wild cards. Like if they can keep these guys in check, pitch around Freeman, it's going to be a fucking game. It's going to be a game. That's going to be kind of the deciding factor. So, again, Game 5 tonight. I'm excited. It's going to be wild. Expecting a massive performance out of Garrett Cole in this game and Yankee Stadium. Game 3 in Yankee Stadium. That is, obviously it's Game 5, but we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be interesting. But once again, guys, thanks for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been tuning in on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. If you think I'm a moron, let me know. If you think my takes are just ridiculously garbage, let me know. I love to talk about it. Love talking baseball. If you follow me if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, be sure to rate, comment, whatever it lets you do on there. I don't know. I know you can rate it. Please rate it. Helps with my engagement. And if you're on socials, obviously follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We got a lot of short videos, clips, more takes, other stuff happening on there. So be sure to tune in, like, follow, subscribe, all that bullshit. So once again, guys, hopefully we'll have another episode tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we'll have another one, I'm hoping. Well, I think we might have one anyway, even if it's a somber one for the end of the season, but we're going to have one tomorrow anyway. Hopefully it's to continue this series, continue to get more baseball, good baseball, obviously. But again, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you tomorrow.